Got done. Second full shift at the new job. I don't know why I said it like that. Definitely went a lot better than the first one. I don't know if I talked about the first one. No, I didn't, because the first one was pretty rough. So, getting out of here and then having a 30 to 40 minute drive home, I was not in the mood to record. So, yeah, tonight went a lot better. That last shift was on a Friday, so that was pretty rough. It's only my second shift there, if you're even counting my stage as like an actual shift, because that was only 4 hours long, and it was a 6 or 7 hour shift, the actual real one on Friday. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm trying to remember recipes, and these aren't like stuff that you've been doing since your mama's kitchen, you know? And making like complex seafood dishes. And trying to remember recipes while you're 8 tickets deep, and they're like the people next to you that are trying to train you are trying themselves to not go into the weeds and be under, and then we ran out of stuff and we weren't fully prepared properly for the shift. I mean, it was just one thing, but I don't want it to seem like we just weren't prepared at all for the shift. There was one thing that put a wedge in everything, and then of course we run out of that thing which was shrimp. We ran out of shrimp at that time, cooked shrimp, right while we're, 8 or 9 tickets deep in a rush. So, and then it was just, everything just kind of fell apart after that, mentally, and the whole situation. And so, it was just kind of one of those things where you just kind of, you got either, you really sit back and think, maybe I'm not built for this. And there's nothing wrong with that. I thought about it. And it's not like, oh, you're too weak, you can't handle being in the kitchen. No. It's just like, if you don't enjoy this shit, you're not gonna want to do this long term. So, it's a situation where you get out of there and you're like, you give up, or that type of shit that lights a fire under your ass and you're like, you know what? Yeah. I'm angry, man. I'm gonna come back in. I'm here to play today. Guess which one I chose? No, this is not beer. It's Topo Chico. Get it, your local grocery store thing. So refreshing. Anyway. So yeah. Found out my mom has kidney disease, which is super awesome. Haven't really had time to process that yet. She's not like bedridden or anything. It was more like a health wake-up call kind of situation, something that I've experienced before. or it's just kind of like a kick in the butt to help you rearrange. And apparently, from what she said, that she's been starting to work out a lot more and eat better, and she's not drinking and doing all this and that. And of course, her doctors, because she apparently, when she was younger, was super into fitness and was doing like the high protein diets and whatever and whatnot. And of course, you know, doctors were like, oh, well, actually, your kidney problems are from too much protein, bro. When in reality, it was not that. All right. There's a lot of probably more so drinking. I was trying to think of the best way to say that. But probably more so diets later on, a not so great diet, and alcohol use. So but yeah, forget that anyway. So yeah, she's not like dying or anything, but you know, it's also something that doesn't necessarily go away. So it's a little bit more than just a kick in the ass, but it's also not like she's in hospice. So I guess that's probably why I'm not like yeah, man, you know, I really need to start writing this stuff down, at least idea-wise. Oh, well, there we go. Now that just brought that back up in my mind. Because I was thinking I should really journal my ideas for these so I actually know what I'm trying to say, and I'm not just sitting here stuttering like a buffoon in front of the camera, and I'm actually talking, and I have a plan with talking, and I'm not just which I can just edit out, but at a certain point it gets annoying just editing all my videos like 5 minutes down from, you know, whatever I've got, because it's just 5 minutes of so yeah, earlier while I was driving to work, I was just thinking about, probably write down things that come up, because I'm going to want to talk about them later, so that I can actually know what I'm talking about. But a point to that, which is getting a journal, which I've had for a while, but I've never used it, is because you kind of fall into that thinking where you kind of want to, you almost use things just the same way everyone else uses things, which sucks because it limits person by person the kind of individual and creative and special parts of each person, because they're all trying to do the same thing because they think that's what they have to do. And for this specific situation that I'm talking about, was journaling. It was like, oh, why can't I journal? Oh, I have to journal tomorrow, thinking that I have to sit down, pen and paper, and write paragraphs worth of stuff and put my mind out on the paper, because that's what everyone else does when they journal or something. And it's like, that's just not how my mind works with those things, as you can see with these videos. It's more of a sporadic, things come and go type of thing. So having the idea to kind of write things down in the moment, and they're probably, if someone else were to look at this journal, they'd be like, this guy is like belongs in a mental hospital, because it's going to be like a note here and a note here and a note here, and they're all going to be random different thoughts that don't connect pretty much, or they do connect, and it's so because that's just how I work. And it's just nice to have that refreshing take, thinking about it, being able to step back and think about it in a different light. Things that you want to do, but, you know, for some reason you're struggling to do them because of, you know, for example, the journal situation, because I think that I have to sit down and I have to write out and I have to sit there for, you know, once I commit, I'm committed, and I can't leave until every single thought in my head is on the paper. And that just seems so, like, taxing to me, because you can call it whatever you want, but it's just, that's a struggle for me to do. Like, I can't sit still that long and, like, write out word for word, paragraph by paragraph, this regimented, formed, like, dissertation of my brain, because that's just not how I operate. A point of which I have now reiterated 4 times, because this is how my brain works, because it's not necessarily always clear and concise, and is often repetitive sometimes, because sometimes I forget that I already just made that point, and for some reason feel like I have to repeat that. So then I just end up in circles, and then, like, especially if I'm writing, then once I realize I'm in a circle, like a logical circle, or whatever you want to think about it, then I'm like, oh, I'm thinking in circles, and then there goes my brain, and then it's off on another adventure thing, and now I'm lost again. And then an hour goes by, and I've written half a sentence. So, yeah. Anyway, in conclusion, journaling, short and concise, to keep video ideas, so that when I have word vomit, I can at least convey a cohesive word vomit, or something I can lay down, like building a road or something, rather than it just being like blah, blah. So, today's lessons. Call your parents, call your mom, call your dad. This is all one lesson. Check in on people, because you never know. Obviously, situationally for me, again, it's not like my mom's dying, but obviously it very well could have been like, well, I'm calling her and she doesn't pick up because she died in a car accident or something, you know. But that's not the point. But anyway, call the people that you care about. Just talk to them. Make it random. Just call them out of the blue, you know. And if they can't appreciate that, there's certain situations where it's like, okay, yeah, I get it. But then there's other situations where it's like, do they really appreciate your presence that much? Maybe not. See, like, there I go again. Anyway, point 2. Live your own way. If there's something that you want to do and you're struggling to do it for some reason, try to figure out a different way to do it. Even if it seems like no one else is doing it that way, especially if no one else is doing it that way, unless, of course, the method that you're talking about affects other people in a harmful way. Don't do that. But if it doesn't hurt people, and it's within yourself, but it's something that no one else does, or that you think no one else does, just do it. If it works for you, it works for you. It's only weird if it doesn't work. That's a good old baseball term for you there. Because everyone that plays that sport's super superstitious. Super duper superstitious. So a lot of them do weird stuff before games, after games, during games to try and find success. And the saying is, it's only weird if it doesn't work. So, it's only weird if it doesn't work. Lesson 3. I don't know. Lesson 3. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy. I'll see you.